want to speak to you right now. Yes, you, the one who has been searching and searching, the one who felt that deep whisper inside that nudged you to click on this message at this exact moment. You didn't arrive here by accident. I truly believe there are no accidents. You are what I call a rare soul. You are someone who knows, even if it's just a tiny, barely audible feeling, that there is an incredible power within you. A power that can completely transform everything. And I mean everything. Your bank account, your relationships, your health, and the very circumstances that might feel right now like they're prison walls around your most precious dreams. I'm going to share something with you today that absolutely changed my life. If you allow it, if you really let this sink into the deepest part of your being, it will change yours too. Now, I know what you might be thinking. You've heard promises before. You've tried affirmations that just didn't seem to work. You've visualized and hoped and prayed. And yet the bills keep arriving. The feeling of lack persists. You still feel like you're on the outside of prosperity, looking in through a window at everyone else's abundance. But darling, what if I told you that the only thing, standing between you and the infinite abundance that is your divine birthright is a single shift in consciousness? It's not about more effort or more struggle. It's simply a shift. You see, most people are walking around half asleep, completely hypnotized by what they see with their physical eyes. They look at their empty bank account and they declare, I am poor. They look at their circumstances and announce to the universe, this is who I am. And the universe, being the perfect mirror that it is, the perfect responder to our inner speech, simply says, yes, you're right. And it delivers them more of exactly what they are declaring. But you, my dear friend, you're different. You're here because somewhere deep in your soul you remember something. You remember that you were not born to struggle. You were not placed on this earth to barely survive, to scrape by, or to apologize for wanting truly good things. You have a divine inheritance and it is time to claim it. Not tomorrow, not when conditions are perfect, but right now, in this moment as you hear these words. I spent years of my life watching this truth play out in the most remarkable ways. I've seen people go from complete financial ruin to extraordinary abundance, not just through hard labor, but by aligning their consciousness with the truth of who they really are. I've watched relationships heal in an instant. I've witnessed bodies restored to perfect health. And it all begins with understanding one simple, powerful principle that most people miss entirely. The principle is this: your word is your wand. Every single time you speak, you are decreeing your reality, not requesting it, not hoping for it, but decreeing it. Most people walk through life speaking carelessly, unconsciously. They say, I'm so tired. And then wonder why exhaustion follows them. They declare, I can't afford that. And then marvel at how money always slips through their fingers. They announce, people always disappoint me, and can't understand why betrayal shows up at every turn. They don't realize they are casting spells with every single sentence. I learned this truth the hard way. Years ago, I had a student, a brilliant, talented, capable woman, who came to me in complete despair. Her life was falling apart. Her health was failing. Her relationships were toxic. Her finances were in ruins. Florence, she said, I don't understand. I'm a good person. Why is God punishing me? I listened to her speak for 20 minutes, and in that time I counted 17 negative declarations. I never have enough. Nothing ever works out for me. I'm always sick this time of year. I can't trust anyone. She wasn't being punished by God. She was hypnotizing herself with her own words. So I gave her an assignment. For 1 week she was to speak only blessings, only truth, only what she wanted to experience. If she couldn't say something positive, she was to say nothing at all. The first day, she told me later, she barely spoke 10 sentences. She hadn't realized how negative her habitual speech had become. But by the third day, something shifted. Her words became intentional, powerful. I am divinely guided. My body is a temple of the living God. The right and perfect relationships now come to me. Within 2 weeks, her entire life had transformed. A job offer appeared out of nowhere. A toxic friendship naturally fell away, replaced by someone who truly valued her. Her chronic pain she'd had for years, simply vanished. She hadn't changed her circumstances, she'd changed her word. And her circumstances had no choice but to follow. This is not a metaphor. This is metaphysical law. Here's what most people get wrong about faith. They think it's about believing harder, gritting their teeth, and forcing themselves to accept something they don't actually believe. That's not faith. That's exhausting yourself. Real faith is effortless. It's the quiet knowing that already exists beneath all the noise of doubt. It's not something you manufacture. It's something you uncover. Think of it like this. A seed doesn't strain to become a tree. It doesn't lie awake at night worrying about whether it has enough faith to grow. The intelligence within that seed knows exactly what to do. Your only job is to plant it in fertile soil and stop digging it up every 5 minutes to check if it's working. Your word is that seed. Your consciousness is the soil. And doubt is you digging it up, examining it, questioning it, strangling it before it ever had a chance to take root. I've watched people pray for healing while mentally planning their funeral. They affirm abundance while calculating exactly how broke they'll be next month. They declare love while rehearsing the speech they'll give when it inevitably falls apart. And then they wonder why nothing changes. You cannot plant apple seeds and expect oranges. You cannot hold the feeling frequency of disaster and expect miracles to show up at your door. Now I know what you're thinking. But Florence, I can't just ignore reality. I can't pretend I'm not sick when I'm sick, broke when I'm broke, alone when I'm alone. And you're right. I'm not asking you to ignore facts. I'm asking you to stop worshiping them. There's a difference between acknowledging where you are and building an altar to it. Between observing a condition and giving it your faith, your energy, your creative power. Every time you rehearse your problems, you're praying for more of them. Every time you tell the story of your limitation, you're signing a contract with the universe to keep experiencing it. This is why Jesus said, "Judge not by appearances." Not because appearances aren't real, but because they are not final. Your word is the most powerful force in your life, and you're speaking it all day long. The ancient Hebrews understood this so deeply that they wouldn't even speak the name of God aloud. They knew that words weren't just sounds. They were creative forces that shaped reality itself. Think about the conversations you had today. How many times did you say, "I can't afford it"? How many times did you say, "I'm so tired"? How many times did you describe yourself as stressed, overwhelmed, or struggling? Each of those statements was a command to your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind is the most obedient servant you'll ever have. It doesn't question. It doesn't judge. It simply says, "Your wish is my command," and gets to work making your words true. This is why I always say, watch your words as you would watch a loaded gun. Because that's exactly what they are. Every sentence you speak is loaded with creative power, and it's going to hit something. The question is, what are you aiming at? I once knew a woman who would say every single day, "I never have enough time." She'd say it in the morning, at lunch, before bed. And you know what? She was absolutely right. She never had enough time. She was always late, always rushed, always behind. Her words had become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Then one day I challenged her. I said, "For the next 30 days, I want you to say something different. Every time you're tempted to say you don't have enough time, I want you to say instead, 'I have plenty of time for everything that truly matters.'" She looked at me like I was insane. "But that's not true," she protested. I said, "Neither was the other statement, but you believed it into existence. Now let's believe something better into existence." She tried it, and within 2 weeks her entire experience of time had shifted. Not because she suddenly had more hours in the day, but because her consciousness had changed. She stopped creating the experience of time scarcity with her words. This is the secret the masters have always known. You're not describing your life with your words. You're prescribing it. You're writing the script, and the universe is an actor that never misses its cue. Think about that for a moment. Really let it sink in. The universe doesn't argue with you. It doesn't debate. It simply says, "Your wish is my command." It takes the blueprints you hand it through your words and your thoughts, and it builds your reality exactly to specification. I remember a woman who came to me drowning in debt. She would tell anyone who'd listen, "I can't afford anything. Money just slips through my fingers. I'm always broke." Every conversation, every thought, every word was soaked in lack. And what did she get? More lack. The universe heard her proclamation and said, "Absolutely, you're broke. Let me show you more ways to be broke." But then something shifted. We worked together and she began to change her inner speech. Instead of, "I can't afford it," she started saying, Money flows to me easily and constantly. Instead of, I'm always broke, she declared. I am a magnet for miraculous abundance. First she felt ridiculous. The bills were still there. The bank account was still empty. But she persisted. Within 3 months, opportunities started appearing. A former employer reached out about a project. She found money she'd forgotten about. Someone repaid an old debt. It wasn't magic in the sense of fantasy. It was magic in the sense of natural law responding to a new vibration, a new declaration. Your words aren't just communication. They're incantations. Every time you speak, you're casting a spell. The question is, are you cursing yourself or blessing yourself? Most people don't realize they're walking around all day long practicing black magic on themselves. I'm so tired. This is too hard. I never get what I want. People always disappoint me. These aren't observations. These are commands. And the universe, in its infinite obedience, must fulfill them. You see, your subconscious mind doesn't argue with you. It doesn't say, are you sure about that? It simply says, your wish is my command. It's the most loyal servant you'll ever have, and the most dangerous master if you don't take charge. I knew a woman who would say every single morning, I'm terrible with money. She'd laugh when she said it, as if it were charming, as if it were just a personality quirk. And year after year she proved herself right. Not because she lacked intelligence or couldn't learn, but because she had given herself a command, and her faithful subconscious obeyed. I finally asked her, why do you keep saying that? She looked at me genuinely puzzled. Because it's true, she said. And there it was, the prison she'd built with her own words and then locked herself inside. The truth is, nothing is just true until you decide it is. Your reality is far more flexible than you've been taught to believe. What you call facts are often just habits of thought that have hardened into experience. So I gave her new words. I am learning to manage money wisely. Simple, not a lie, not a leap too far for her belief to accept, just a gentle redirection. And do you know what happened? Within weeks, she found a financial advisor. Within months, she had a budget she actually followed. The money didn't change. She changed. And the money followed. This is the power you're wielding every moment of every day. Whether you realize it or not, your words are setting the trajectory. They're programming the destination into your life's GPS. And the universe doesn't care if you're programming in coordinates for paradise or prison. Just takes you where you tell it to go. Listen to yourself for one full day. I mean, really listen. Hear the casual cruelties you speak over your own life. I'm so stupid. I can't ever remember names. I'm always late. Nothing ever works out for me. Every single one is a brick in the wall between you and your goodness. The ancient wisdom tells us, life and death are in the power of the tongue. Not metaphorically, not poetically, literally. You are speaking life or death over your circumstances, your relationships, your bank account, your very body every single day. Now here's where most people stumble. They think they can affirm abundance while secretly believing in lack. They say, I am wealthy, while their inner voice screams, who are you kidding? Look at your bank account. This is what I call the split mind. And let me tell you, the split mind receives split results. Confusion starts and stops 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. You cannot serve 2 masters. You cannot hold the word of prosperity on your lips while clutching the word of poverty in your heart. The subconscious mind is listening always. It's like a faithful servant who takes every order you give it, whether you speak it consciously or unconsciously. It doesn't judge. It doesn't filter. It simply says, yes, master, and gets to work creating whatever you've declared. This is why I tell my students, watch your inner conversations more carefully than your outer ones. What are you saying to yourself in the shower, in traffic, when you look in the mirror, when you check your bank balance, when someone mentions that person who hurt you? Those words matter. Those silent declarations are shaping your world just as powerfully as anything you speak aloud. I knew a woman who wanted to marry desperately, but every time she saw a happy couple, she would think, must be nice. That'll never be me. Every single time. Then she wondered why she kept attracting unavailable men. Your words are setting the table for your life. If you're constantly saying, I can't afford this, you're sending out invitations to poverty. If you're saying, I'm always sick, you're rolling out the welcome mat for disease. If you're saying, nothing ever works out for me, You're hiring failure as your personal assistant. I've watched this play out thousands of times. A person comes to me in complete chaos, and within 5 minutes of conversation, I can tell you exactly why their life looks the way it does. Their words have painted the picture. But here's the magnificent truth that makes me want to shout from every rooftop. The moment you change your words, you begin to change your world. Not eventually, not someday, but now. Because right now, while you're hesitating, while you're waiting for permission or the perfect moment or all your doubts to magically disappear, someone else is claiming the very thing you want. I'm not saying that to scare you. I'm saying it because it's true. The universe doesn't hold things in reserve. It doesn't put opportunities in a vault with your name on them while you get ready. Energy flows where attention goes. And if you're not claiming something, someone else is. This is why the lukewarm attitude is so dangerous. You can't whisper your desires and expect the universe to shout them back. You can't tiptoe around your dreams and expect them to run toward you. You can't give half your heart to something and expect full manifestation. The universe responds to conviction, to certainty, to the person who says, "This is mine," and doesn't flinch. I've seen it 1,000 times. Two people wanting the same thing, same qualifications, same circumstances, but one of them claims it with absolute faith, and the other one hopes for it with fingers crossed. Guess who gets it every single time? The one who claims. Not because they're luckier or deserve it more, but because they align themselves with it completely. They became an energetic match for what they wanted. And here's what most people don't understand. Claiming isn't arrogance. It's not entitlement. It's not demanding that the universe bend to your ego. Claiming is recognizing what's already yours in the spiritual realm and calling it forth into the material. It's knowing that before you even asked, it was given. And your job isn't to create it from nothing. It's to accept the gift that's already been wrapped. Think about it this way. If someone handed you a present with your name on it, would you stand there debating whether you deserve it? Would you push it away and say, "Oh no, I couldn't possibly"? No, you'd take it. You'd say, "Thank you." You'd open it with gratitude and joy. That's what claiming is. It's accepting what's already yours. But we've been taught to be small, to wait our turn, to not ask for too much, to be grateful for crumbs while the feast sits untouched. And I'm telling you, that's not spiritual. That's not humble. That's fear dressed up as virtue. Because real humility isn't about making yourself small. Real humility is recognizing that God didn't create you to be small. Real humility is saying, "I am a channel for infinite abundance, and I accept it with gratitude." That's not arrogance. That's alignment. You want to know what true spiritual poverty looks like? It's refusing the gift that's already been given to you. It's like standing in the rain with an umbrella in your hand, refusing to open it because you think getting drenched proves you're holy. God isn't impressed by your suffering. God is waiting for you to open the umbrella. Now, I've watched people sabotage their own blessings because they thought they had to pay for them with pain first. They'd get an opportunity, a real, tangible opportunity, and they'd immediately start creating obstacles. "Oh, but I'm not ready. Oh, but what if it doesn't work out? Oh, but I don't deserve this yet." And I would say to them, who told you that you don't deserve it? Was it God? Or was it your Aunt Ethel, who's been miserable for 40 years and doesn't want you to be happy because it would remind her of her own wasted life? Because here's what I know. Your inner voice, the real one, the one connected to divine intelligence, that voice never tells you that you're unworthy. That voice never says, "Suffer more. Wait longer. Prove yourself harder." That's the voice of fear. That's the voice of the world. That's the voice of people who gave up on their own dreams and now make a hobby out of crushing yours. The voice of God says, "This is for you. Take it. I made it specifically for you." And if you can't hear that voice, it's because you've been listening to the other voices for so long that they've drowned it out. You've tuned your radio to the station of lack, and that station plays the same song on repeat. Not enough. Not yet. Not you. Not now. I'm here to tell you to change the station. You change it with your words, with your thoughts, with your absolute refusal to participate in poverty consciousness one more single day. I learned this from a woman who came to me with $17 in her purse and no idea where rent was coming from. She was a talented seamstress, but she'd been affirming poverty for so long that it became her reality. "I can't afford fabric. I can't afford a better machine. Nobody wants to pay what my work is worth. I stopped her right there. Every single word you just spoke is a prayer for poverty. Do you understand that? You're literally asking the universe to prove you right. We changed her statement that very hour. I am abundantly supplied with all the materials I need. My work is recognized and valued. Money flows to me easily and constantly. She said it felt like lying at first, like she was playing pretend. But I told her, and I'm telling you, that feeling is just your old consciousness dying. Let it die. Within 3 weeks, a woman approached her at church, saw a dress she'd made, and asked if she did custom work. That one commission led to 5 more. Within 2 months, she had more work than she could handle. Within 6 months, she moved into a larger apartment with a dedicated studio space. Magic? No. Law. Absolute, unchangeable, responsive law. Your word is your wand. Every time you speak, you're casting a spell. Most people are walking around cursing themselves all day long and wondering why their life feels cursed. I'm so broke. I'm struggling. I can't catch a break. Nothing ever works out for me. Stop it. Stop it right now. Your words are setting the mold that the universe must fill. When you say, I can't afford it, the universe says, your wish is my command. When you say, I never have enough, creation responds, you're absolutely right. Here's more, not enough for you. You think you're just making conversation, just venting, just being realistic. But there's no such thing as just words. Words are containers of power. They carry vibration, frequency, creative force. The same force that spoke worlds into existence is flowing through your mouth right now. What are you creating with it? This is why I'm so ruthless about language. I correct myself mid-sentence if I hear myself starting to claim limitation. I don't have time. No, there is infinite supply available to me right now. It might sound strange to people around you at first, but your bank account won't think it's strange when it starts filling up. Your words are the architects of your reality. I cannot emphasize this enough. Every single thing you say after I am is creating your future. When you say, I am broke, the universe doesn't argue. It says, your wish is my command, and sends you more broke. When you say, I am abundant, it does the exact same thing. It matches that frequency and brings you abundance. I've watched people sabotage million-dollar opportunities with their mouths. They get the interview, the meeting, the connection, and then they say things like, I'm not really qualified, or, I probably won't get it anyway. And guess what? They're right. Not because they weren't qualified, but because they claimed their disqualification with their own words. Here's what I do differently now. I speak about money as if it's already mine. Not in some fake, forced way that feels like lying, but in a way that acknowledges the truth of the spiritual realm. I am so grateful for the financial abundance flowing to me. Isn't a lie. It's a truth that hasn't manifested in the physical yet, but it's real in the invisible. And the invisible always precedes the visible. I also stopped explaining my lack. Someone asks how business is going, and the old me would launch into a 10-minute explanation of why things were slow, why the market was tough, why clients weren't paying. Now, business is wonderful. I'm experiencing tremendous growth. Even if my bank account hasn't caught up yet, I'm speaking the end result, not the current condition. Because whatever I speak about, I bring about. And here's something that might surprise you. I stopped letting other people speak poverty over me. When someone says, must be nice, or, in this economy, I don't accept that. I don't argue with them, but I don't agree either. I just smile and change the subject, because I refuse to let someone else's limited thinking contaminate my abundant reality. You have to guard your mouth like you guard your bank account. Actually, guard it more carefully because your mouth determines what goes into your bank account. Every complaint is a prayer for more things to complain about. Every statement of lack is an order placed with the universe for more lack. I know this sounds dramatic, but I watched a woman lose her business because she couldn't stop talking about losing it. 6 months before it actually happened, she was already telling everyone who would listen how hard things were, how clients were leaving, how she probably wouldn't make it through the year. And you know what? She was right. But here's the thing. She wasn't predicting the future. She was creating it. Every conversation was a brick in the wall of her own prison. Every business is terrible was an instruction to her subconscious mind. Every I can't afford this was a command to universal law. Now, contrast that with someone I know who treats her words like seeds she's planting in a garden. She doesn't lie about her circumstances, but she carefully chooses what she speaks into existence. Instead of "I'm broke," she says, "Money is flowing to me now." Instead of "Nobody's buying," she says, "My perfect clients are finding me." Same circumstances, completely different harvest. See, your subconscious mind doesn't judge whether your words are true or false. It just says, "Okay, you're the boss," and gets to work manifesting whatever you're consistently declaring. It's like a faithful servant who takes every instruction literally. This is why wealthy people talk differently than poor people even before they're wealthy. They guard their words the way a soldier guards a fortress. They understand that speech is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. You cannot speak poverty and live abundance. It's impossible. It's like trying to plant tomatoes and harvest roses. The universe doesn't work that way. And yes, I can hear some of you saying, "But Florence, I'm just being realistic. I'm just telling the truth about my situation." Are you though? Or are you rehearsing one possible future and calling it truth? Because last time I checked, truth includes the fact that you have creative power. Truth includes the fact that circumstances can change. Truth includes the infinite possibilities available to you right now. When you say, "I can't afford it," you're not being truthful. You're being limited. The more accurate statement would be, "I'm choosing not to purchase this right now." Or better yet, "This or something better is coming to me now." Because here's what I've observed time and time again. Your words are setting your financial thermostat. Every single day, you're either expanding or contracting your receiving capacity with the language you choose. I once knew a woman who would say, "I'm so broke," 5, 6, 7 times a day. It was her greeting, her goodbye, her explanation for everything. And you know what happened? She became a magnet for broken things. Broken appliances, broken relationships, broken opportunities. Because broke wasn't just describing her bank account. It was describing her entire consciousness. When I suggested she change her vocabulary, she resisted at first. "But it's true," she insisted. "I am broke." And I said to her what I'm saying to you now. Stop defending your limitations as if they're treasures worth protecting. Your job isn't to be accurate about your current circumstances. Your job is to be faithful to your vision. So she began a new practice. Instead of, "I'm broke," she started saying, "Money flows to me easily and naturally." Instead of, "I can't afford it," she said, "I'm open to receiving this or something better." Instead of complaining about bills, she blessed them as she paid them, saying, "I give thanks for the abundance that allows me to pay this easily." Within 3 months, she received an unexpected inheritance from a distant relative she barely knew. Within 6 months, she'd started a small business that grew beyond anything she'd imagined. Within a year, she was teaching others about prosperity. Was it magic? No, it was law. Universal law that works with mathematical precision every single time. Your subconscious mind is incredibly literal. It doesn't judge whether your words are helping or hurting you. It simply accepts what you tell it and sets about making it real. When you say, "I never have enough," it says, "Yes, master," and creates more situations where you don't have enough. When you say, "Money comes to me from expected and unexpected sources," it says, "Yes, master," and opens channels you never even knew existed. This is why I'm so passionate about this work. Because I've seen what happens when people finally understand that their words aren't just sounds. They're creative forces that shape their entire reality. Now let me share something with you that might sound radical, but it's absolutely true. Your subconscious mind doesn't care whether something is realistic or not. It only knows what you consistently tell it. If you tell it every day that money is scarce, that you have to struggle, that things are hard, it will faithfully create that experience for you. But if you tell it every day that you are divinely supplied, that abundance is your natural state, that all your needs are met, it will create that instead. I've watched people transform their entire financial situations simply by changing their daily declarations. A woman came to me once who was drowning in debt. Every morning she would wake up and immediately start worrying about her bills. I said to her, "What if instead of worrying, you spent those first moments speaking words of abundance?" She looked at me like I was suggesting she ignore reality. But I explained, worrying is ignoring reality. The reality that God is your source, not your bank account. She started saying every morning, "I am a daughter of the infinite." All that belongs to the Father belongs to me. My supply is endless, immediate, and divinely orchestrated. Within 3 months, she received an unexpected inheritance from a distant relative she barely knew. Within 6 months, her business tripled its income. Within a year, she was completely debt-free with money and savings. Did the affirmations magically create money out of thin air? No, they shifted her consciousness, and the universe, like a faithful mirror, reflected that new consciousness back to her as tangible abundance. Your words are your most powerful tool. Start using them to bless yourself, not curse yourself.